Hi, my name is Neb Camus Sen Atumuri, and this is the sixth video in the series 200 Fallen Angels, the Science of the Curse. Loham, the son of Utnapishtim Noah, allowed his countenance to drop and was in a weak state after an argument with his he just had with his wife Halima, daughter of Anis and Shakar. It was easy for the devil to possess him in his weak state of mind. Thus, Iblis sent one of his disagreeable beings in the form of Anak, the queen of Nod, to Ham and possessed him. Ham, while in his father's tent, mocked his father's nakedness, and he looked upon the nakedness of his father with the thought of sexuality and fornication. Yet he did not lay with his father. Although Ham was not acting on his own will, he still violated the laws of Anu, the Most High. These feelings of sexuality and fornication existed before the time of the flood with the Hindus who came from Nirvana. After Ham had opened himself up by having an argument with his wife, Halima, he allowed Anak, the queen of the disagreeable Allahum, to possess him. When Utnapishtim Noah awoke from his sleep, he knew immediately what his son had done to him. Therefore, he placed a curse on Ham's fourth son, who was called Libana or Canaan in the Bible. The curse was not put on Ham, as many are thought or led to believe, but on his fourth son, Libana. Utnapishtim told Ham, "The curse will be upon your son Canaan," who was originally named Libana by his parents, Ham and Halima, at his 8th day birth ceremony, in which a child receives their name. Libana's name was later changed to Canaan by the Flugel rods when he moved from the lowland to the caves. This curse was placed on Libana Canaan until the day of judgment. The physical curse meant that a race of beings would manifest in the physical with the spirit of demons. This race of beings, lepers, didn't manifest until the birth of Libana. He was named Libana because he was pale and white like snow. Later, he was called Canaan, the grandson of Utnapishtim. As you have seen, the formation of some of the Caucasians are a result of the physical curse, leprosy, that was placed on Libana. However, not all of the Caucasians came from leprosy. You have three types of Caucasians, and they are blonde hair, blue eyes, red hair, green eyes, and dark hair, dark eyes. This curse that was placed on Libana, Canaan, was also a genetic one, which means that it took place in the genes of man. This was the removal of his melanin, which cut off his family ties with the Anunnaki. This is a genetic disorder called albinism. For a person to be born with albinism, both parents must be albinos. It affects 1 out of every several thousand human and animals. This is because both parents do not possess any of the dominant genes. The science of heredity in human genetics explores the transmission of physical traits and other characteristics of parents to their offspring. The basic units in the complex process called genes, and these make up the chromosomes. The basic chemical of the gene DNA, deoxyribonucleic acid, enables humans to carry all the information of the heredity. The chromosomes occur in pairs. Normally, each of us have 23 pairs of chromosomes. The sex chromosomes carry genes that determine the other characteristics. Because these others are in the sex chromosomes, the characteristics they determine are called sex-linked characteristics. Libana Canaan became an albino because both of his parents had recessive genes. Ham and Halima, his parents, were descendants of the Cuthites. Let us take a look at the genealogy of Libana. Libana's parents, as stated earlier, were Ham and Halima. Ham was the son of Utnapishtim and Naamah. Naamah was the daughter of Unaim and Sakhinah, who were both of the Cuthite tribe from the land of Ashur. Halima was the daughter of Anis and Shachar, Ubin. Ubin was an Enosite and Anis was a Cuthite. Remember Genesis chapter 9, 24 and 25. After Ham had committed the sin of looking at his father Utnapishtim, the friend of God, who was perfect in his generation and who walked with God, Genesis 6:9, Utnapishtim told him that a curse would be placed on his fourth son, Libana, Canaan. If you read on later, in the next verse, you will see where Utnapishtim includes in his condemnation Yahweh Elohim. And he told Ham that Libana, Canaan, shall be a servant unto his brethren. At this point, Ham was terrified, and this affected his nervous system, which carries messages to the brain, and affected his pineal gland, which produces the melanin. Stress and fear can cause many complications in the way a person's body may respond. In humans, if danger is perceived, the pituitary gland releases a hormone called adrenocorticotropic hormone, stimulating or acting on the adrenal cortex. This hormone in turn triggers the adrenal glands to release epinephrine, known to most as adrenaline, which is a hormone secreted by the adrenal medulla that is released into the bloodstream in response to physical or mental stress, as from fear or injury. Stress and fear shifts blood flow and energy to the brain, and these effects are all results of what doctors call the fight or flight response of the body when it is confronted with a threatening situation. Thus, a person in a physically or mentally dangerous situation is said to be under stress, as in the case of Ham when he was approached by the Elohim. If a person goes into a state of shock or fear, which is something that would lead them to be stressed, there are two things that may happen. One is the oversecretion of the melanocyte-stimulating hormone, MSH, by the pituitary gland, which results in brown skin. Or 2, the lack of the secretion of the melanocyte-stimulating hormone, which would result in white or pale skin coloration. The nervous system has a major effect on the skin. Leprosy produces granular lesions in affected areas of the skin. That's why they call it leprosy, lep-rosy. You will find that when you see a person with a rash or some kind of skin disorder, that it comes from being stressed out, not sleeping or eating improperly, or being tensed the majority of the time. Any doctor will tell you that most skin problems stem from stress. That is why when people suffer from skin disorders such as seborrhea, eczema, psoriasis, herpes, etc., they usually don't break out until they become stressed out. So you can't tell me that you can't catch a malignant disease, which is spoken of in Leviticus 13:2, from stress. The Torah gives various accounts of the signs and symptoms of leprosy, of what leprosy actually looks like. Leprosy affects the skin, the eyes, and the mucous membranes of the nose and throat. It mainly affects the nerves. So it is nothing new to say that stress can affect your nervous system, which in turn will affect your skin. It is medically and scientifically proven. That is why when you get a cold or scared, you sometimes feel your skin crawling, or you get what is called, or what they call, goosebumps, or the hair on your arm stands up. It is all linked to the nervous system. There is a saying that goes, I was scared pale. Ham was stressed at this moment in his life. He was what you would call a manic depressive. And it is a known fact that stress can cause skin defects, because what affects your nerves can affect your skin. If a regular person could scare pale, just imagine what would happen if the unknown was made known to you. And that is exactly what happened when the Elohim stepped in. It scared Ham pale. But this didn't happen to him physically. It affected his genes, and it came out in his fourth son, Libana, Canaan. Because Ham was scared to the point where it affected his genes, it caused his child to be born Melanin-Recessive. As was mentioned previously, the curse that was placed on Libana, Canaan, was a genetic curse, which means it took place in the genes of man. In the case of Ham, the curse that was placed on him would only show up on his fourth offspring, which was Libana. Genes are part of chromosomes, which are made up of DNA. DNA controls the inherited traits of man, animal, and plants, which are responsible for almost all the features that make you look different from anyone else. The composition of all your body organs is governed by your intelligence. In the nucleus of every cell in your body, there are at least 1 million strands of DNA. Altogether, they do much to decide what you look and think like. It is in the fourth generation of animals and plants that the recessive traits show up. That is why the result of Ham's stress showed up in his fourth son. Because, as it says in the degree of Exodus, visiting the iniquities of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me. Libana Canaan was born pale and albino. In other words, with the curse of leprosy. Libana Canaan lacked pigmentation. He was melanin-recessive, so his skin was pale and translucent, making it possible to see the veins. Canaan's descendants had straight six-ether light hair as a result of leprosy. Canaan himself didn't have straight hair, he had woolly hair. He was still a Nubian, just an albino, though he carried a gene that caused his descendants to be born with leprosy. His fourth son, Amor, was the father of the Amorites, and his brother, Jebus, was the father of the Jebusites. The 200 fallen, disagreeable angelic beings came down to earth and housed the bodies of people during Utnapishtim's time. The people became rebellious and strayed from the laws of the Most High. The Creator was displeased, therefore he saw fit for them to be destroyed. The people of Utnapishtim's time were destroyed by the flood. When Ham became angry, he opened himself up to becoming possessed by one of these wicked beings, thus allowing them to re-enter the planet Earth. The spirits of these 11 fallen angelic beings would house the bodies of the sons of Canaan. They were filled with unholy ghosts, evil spirits, demons. Each son was possessed by one of the unholy spirits or ghosts. His sons were Sidon, possessed by Samael. He had red hair, blue eyes. Heth, possessed by Hakael, blonde hair, dark blue eyes. Jebus, possessed by Jithril, black hair, dark brown eyes. Amor, possessed by Asmodeus, white hair, white eyes. Girgash, possessed by Rul, light brown hair, gray eyes. Hiwi, possessed by Hima, blonde hair, silver eyes. Arki, possessed by Araqial, auburn hair, hazel eyes. Sini, possessed by Satrina, dark brown hair, brown eyes. Arvad, possessed by Adiush, dark brown hair, blue eyes. Zemar, possessed by Zar-Sadi, blonde hair, chestnut eyes. Hamath, possessed by Beelzebub, black hair, black eyes. These 11 angels were of the 200 fallen angelic beings that were cast out of heaven, not to be mistaken with the 1/3 that were cast out of the galaxy Ilion. This Hamath was possessed by Beelzebub, from Baal or Bel meaning Lord or Master, and Zabab meaning fly, with its buzz and stench, and as the bee with its honey and odor. Hamath was possessed by Lucifer, the bringer of light, for darkness was supreme balance as Mephistopheles. This Hamath gave his soul to Beelzebub to give to Mephistopheles. The descendants of Hamath became the Ammonites of today. The Canaanite Caucasian knows his abominable past and tries to make us accept it as normal through his many movies of leprous, walking dead zombies. Oh no, Nubians, that's a curse that had been placed on them until Judgment Day. And you are not supposed to be going out, mixing bodily fluids, having sexual relationships, or marrying that which God has cursed. And this new generation of demons will try to inveigle you with the notion that they are not like their forefathers, that they are cool, calling themselves Wiggers. But that's a big lie, simply because of the science of heredity and genetics, that they carry their forefathers' genes and iniquities. And as was mentioned earlier, God said in the Bible that he will punish the entire genealogy of devils. So step up off that self-induced empathy, sympathy, and philanthropy for the children of the 200 angelic beings who mean you no good. If they truly were remorseful, they would give us back our planet, which the Anunnaki bequeathed to us, their children. They should give it up